Hello everyone. Welcome to today's exciting presentation. I'm thrilled to have you here as we explore some fun and surprising facts about our planet, the universe, and all living beings. The title of our talk is Amazing Science Facts. Over the next few slides, we'll uncover some fascinating tidbits that will surprise and inspire you. So let's get started and dive into the incredible world of science. Let's take a moment to appreciate just how much work our heart does every single day. It pumps about 7,000 to 8,000 liters of blood daily, which is roughly 5 tons. To put that into perspective, that amount of blood could fill a large water tanker truck in just 24 hours. This incredible effort is vital because it ensures that oxygen and nutrients are constantly delivered throughout our entire body. It's the heart's relentless work that keeps everything functioning smoothly. So, when we think about the heart, remember it's not just a symbol of love, but also a powerful pump that moves an astonishing volume of blood, enough to fill a tanker truck every day. This daily activity is what keeps us alive and active. Oceans play a crucial role in regulating our planet's climate. Imagine them as a massive sponge, soaking up carbon dioxide that's released into the atmosphere. In fact, about 30% of human-made CO2 emissions are absorbed by the oceans. This natural process helps to slow down the pace of global warming, at least for now. However, it also means that our oceans are under increasing stress. If they weren't absorbing so much CO2, the effects of climate change would be even more severe. So, understanding this vital function highlights just how interconnected our climate system really is. It also reminds us why protecting our oceans is essential for the health of our entire planet. Neurons can fire up to 1,000 signals every second, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. This rapid firing speed is what allows us to react so quickly to our environment. For example, if you touch something hot, your brain processes that information almost instantly, and you pull your hand back without even thinking about it. Each individual neuron is capable of firing electrical signals up to 1,000 times per second, highlighting just how fast and efficient our nervous system truly is. This rapid communication between neurons is a key part of how our brains coordinate complex responses and keep us safe. It's fascinating to see how such tiny cells are capable of such extraordinary speed, connecting to the overall theme of how our brains process and respond to information in real time. Let's look at an interesting example to start with. Some crows have been observed dropping nuts onto busy roads so that cars will crack them open. It's a clever way for them to access food without much effort. Crows are incredibly smart creatures. They can bend wires, which shows they can manipulate objects in their environment. They also use sticks as tools, much like humans do, to reach or extract food. Even more impressively, crows can solve multi-step puzzles, demonstrating problem-solving skills that are quite advanced. This ability to use tools highlights their intelligence and adaptability. It connects to the overall theme of this presentation, which is about animal intelligence and how animals use their skills to survive and thrive in their environments. Saturn is truly a giant when it comes to its moons. In fact, it has over 80 moons that we know of, making it the king of moons in our solar system. One of the most fascinating moons is Titan, which is actually bigger than the planet Mercury. That's pretty incredible considering Mercury is a whole planet. This really highlights just how diverse and complex Saturn's system is. Throughout this presentation, we're exploring the many wonders of our solar system, and Saturn's moons are a perfect example of how much variety exists out there. It's amazing to think that such a massive planet can host such a large collection of moons, each with its own unique features. Contrary to what many people think, a camel's hump is not actually a water tank. Instead, it's a fat reserve. This is a really important point because it helps us understand how camels survive in harsh desert environments. The stored fat in the hump can be metabolized into energy when food is scarce, allowing the camel to go for long periods without eating. This adaptation is crucial for their survival during extended treks through the desert. So, the hump's main role is to store fat, which the camel can then convert into energy, rather than water as some might assume. This highlights how specialized and efficient these animals are at adapting to extreme conditions, tying into our overall theme of remarkable biological adaptations. All right, let's take a deep dive, literally, into some incredible records. The deepest scuba dive ever recorded is an astonishing 332 meters. To give you a sense of scale, that's more than the height of the Eiffel Tower. Imagine descending that far underwater. It's a level of achievement that pushes the limits of human endurance and skill. This record was set by Ahmed Gabber, who demonstrated extraordinary training, preparation, and courage to reach such depths. It really highlights just how extreme and fascinating the world of underwater exploration is. And it ties into our overall theme of pushing boundaries and discovering new frontiers, whether they're on land, in the sky, or beneath the waves. This slide explains why hurricanes spin in different directions depending on where they occur. The key idea here is that Earth's rotation plays a major role, and this leads to what we call the Coriolis effect. Essentially, the Coriolis effect causes moving air and water to curve as they travel across the planet. In the northern hemisphere, this results in hurricanes spinning counterclockwise, while in the southern hemisphere, they spin clockwise. This phenomenon is a great example of how Earth's rotation influences weather patterns and helps us understand the behavior of these powerful storms. It ties into the overall theme of how our planet's dynamics shape natural events around us. You might notice that your nails tend to grow faster in the summer. That's because warm temperatures actually boost blood circulation. When your blood flows more efficiently, it delivers more nutrients to your nails, helping them grow more quickly. In fact, nails can grow anywhere from 5 to 20% faster when it's warm outside. This is a great example of how our environment can impact our body's processes. So, during the hotter months, you may find yourself trimming your nails more often, something to keep in mind if you're trying to keep a certain manicure or just manage nail health. It all ties back to the overall theme of how external factors influence our body's growth and health. Even though giraffes have these incredibly long necks, they actually share an interesting trait with humans. Both species have exactly 7 cervical vertebrae, or neck bones. That's pretty remarkable, considering the size difference. So, despite the huge variation in length, the number of neck bones remains the same. This highlights how our bodies and other animals can have different forms but still share fundamental similarities. It really ties into the overall theme of how evolution can modify structures in diverse ways while maintaining core features. Let's talk about how a star's color actually tells us about its temperature. For example, our sun appears yellowish-white, which means it's moderately hot with a surface temperature of around 5,500 degrees Celsius. The key idea here is that a star's color is a direct clue to how hot it is. Blue stars are the hottest of all, shining with intense energy, while red stars are cooler and give off a softer, warmer glow. Understanding this helps us connect the dots between what we see and what's happening on the star itself, which ties back to the overall theme of how stars are classified and understood through their light. Sure, here is the narration script for slide 13. Some bacteria have actually been found living on the exterior of the International Space Station, which is pretty fascinating. It shows that certain microorganisms are incredibly resilient and can survive in the harsh conditions of space. This ties into the broader theme of how tough life can be and the surprising ways it persists even in extreme environments. It's a reminder of the resilience of bacteria and raises interesting questions about their ability to adapt and survive beyond Earth. The moon is gradually drifting away from Earth, and this process is happening very slowly over time. In fact, in about 600 million years, the moon will have moved far enough away that it will no longer be able to cause total solar eclipses. This is a fascinating example of how dynamic our planet and its satellite are, even on timescales that seem almost unimaginable. The rate at which the moon is moving away is about 3.8 centimeters per year, which is roughly the same as the length of your fingernail growth in a single month. This slow but steady change highlights how interconnected and evolving our celestial environment is, reminding us that even the seemingly permanent features of our sky are constantly in flux. This movement of the moon is an important piece of the larger story about the history and future of Earth's relationship with its natural satellite. This slide explains why older people often seem to have noticeably larger ears. Unlike bones, which stop growing after a certain age, your ears and nose continue to grow throughout your entire life. This is because they are made of cartilage, which remains capable of growth over time. So, as we age, these features tend to become more prominent, giving that characteristic look. It's a fascinating example of how different tissues in our body have unique growth patterns. This ties into our overall theme of understanding the various ways our bodies change as we get older. Trees can live for incredible lengths of time, often spanning thousands of years. For example, the famous Methuselah tree is over 4,800 years old, which means it was already ancient when the Egyptian pyramids were being built. That's truly astonishing. Some bristlecone pines are actually the oldest non-clonal organisms on Earth, surpassing 4,800 years in age. This highlights just how resilient and enduring these trees are. Understanding their longevity really underscores the incredible resilience of nature and how trees serve as living links to our distant past. It's a powerful reminder of the importance of protecting these ancient organisms for future generations.